All right, Carl, where are we heading today?
We are going to go to Mishawaka and visit Gene Bontrager.
All right, all right.
Cool.
All right, Carl, so we're on the road and we're having some technical difficulties with our equipment. So we're going to take a pit stop here at the Ace, see if we can find what we need.
Ace is the place.
All right, so we're back on the road and we did not find what we were looking for in Ace, but with the help of a little bit of duct tape and a screwdriver, we got it fixed. So we're good to go. All right, so Carl, let's talk a little bit about what the upcoming sermon is. So what are we looking at and what do we need to know?
Okay, so we're looking at 2 Peter chapter 2. It's the entire chapter. And here, there's been some false teaching going on that Peter's aware of. And this false teaching is the idea that, hey, there's no reckoning for anything we do. I mean, there's no judgment going to be given, so we can do whatever we want. And it's not necessarily these are terrible people saying this, but it's the idea, the freedom we have in Jesus, we can do anything we want. But Peter ends up saying later on, and it's something to the effect, whatever you are enslaved to whatever defeats you, okay? Which there's some really interesting things about that. Just think through that phrase then. So anyway, he's talking about these false teachers and what they're trying to say. And then he gives examples. There are 3 examples he gives where God does send in judgment, But the examples, like one of the examples comes from the book of 1 Enoch. Which obviously Peter didn't have this kind of a book, but it was an ancient manuscript that he is obviously quoting from, because he talks about angels who have rebelled against Yahweh, and so they are bound up in chains in utter darkness. And that's a quote from 1 Enoch. That's one of his examples. The other example is Noah and the flood, and then he also talks about Sodom and Gomorrah. So those are his 3 examples of judgment. Something I did notice here in this 2 Peter, he's going to talk about the angels that are chained up in utter darkness. He's going to talk about Sodom and Gomorrah, and he's going to talk about Balaam and the whole talking donkey thing. In Jude, which we're going to look at in 2 weeks, Jude uses the exact 3 same things. He talks about the angels and Sodom and Gomorrah and Balaam. So I think that's very interesting and telling, because that would say Jude's also looking at some of the same material to understand who Jesus is that Peter was looking at too. So anyway, so Peter's still talking about his best friend, and he's talking about how dangerous it is to not pay attention to what Jesus actually did with his life, and instead you're going to come up with different kinds of things, which are the false teachings, the corrupt teachings, and he's saying, man, you really have to stay away from that kind of stuff.
All right, so we decided before we go and see Gene, we need to stop and grab a donut.
It's a pit stop. You got to do it.
We can't not. It would be a shame to not stop and get a donut. So that's what we're doing. Let's go.
Hi, thanks for thinking of me, and I'm slowly progressing, and your thoughts and prayers are very much appreciated.
All right, so we got to see Gene.
Yeah,
and
it was good to see him.
Very good. He's doing well and recovering and making progress. And so we want to encourage you to be praying for him, reaching out to him, phone calls, text messages, cards, whatever. He appreciates all of those. So we want to remind you, church on Sunday, 9:15. What's the passage we're looking at?
We are looking at 2 Peter chapter 2.
2 Peter chapter 2. We'll see you there.